it's a privilege to interview you. Let's just start right into it. You teach women how to not get played by men. And
Yeah.
I listened to your videos. So what is some basic advice that we women should know?
Well, the first thing I would like women to know is understanding female leverage. And when we talk about female leverage, we're talking about something that is naturally given to a woman, whether you believe in God or in nature, either way. But when we talk about female leverage, it's natural for the man to pursue the woman. It's natural for the man to put his best foot forward, that to show the woman that he's even worthy of her time and her attention. And I think in today's world that has been flipped totally upside down, because men have noticed that a lot of women are not aware of their female leverage. And so the average guy that's out there is looking for sex. So if he's looking for sex, he's looking for the quickest way to gain access to sex for a lady. And he is definitely not going to tell a lady about her female leverage. No way.
Well, that makes sense. Now, what would you say, though, to women? Because they're the ones giving men sex right away.
Yes.
Why are women doing this?
You know what? It seems like, once again, ladies are not aware of their female leverage, but it also seems as if ladies seem like they just take men's words verbatim. You know, everything that a man says, they just take it at face value, and they don't, you know, put him to work. In other words, let's say a woman finds a man attractive. See, men can pick up real quickly when a woman finds them attractive. So if a woman is attracted to a man, first of all, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. But a lot of times she gives away her attractiveness to him too soon. When he picks up on that, what he's basically going to do is he's basically going to tell that woman anything that he thinks she wants to hear. So let's say, you know, the lady is interested in a committed relationship. He may not be in a committed relationship. He's not going to say that because, once again, he's trying to gain the quickest access to sex. So he's going to say, yes, I'm interested in a committed relationship. Let's say he's married. He finds out the woman is physically attracted to him. He's not going to tell her he's married. Of course not. He's going to say, nope, I'm single. And once again, I'm interested in a relationship with you. You're a great woman. I like your personality. I like the connection that we have. I want to get to know you better. Let me take you out on some dates, you know, things of that nature. And next thing you know, the woman is in bed. But when she looks back, and, you know, sometimes, you know, when she's trying to take inventory as far as what went wrong, I think a lot of times what went wrong is she took what the man said at face value, and all he said was words. Because it's nothing for a man to lie, especially when sex is on the line. One thing I always tell ladies is that when a man has an erect penis, when a man wants sex, all bets are off the table of what he will say or what he will do in order to get sex from her. He'll tell you anything that he thinks you want to hear.
Yeah, so that's very interesting, this difference between men and women. Is it that women are too trusting? Also, what I want to say is that, you know, no one's really teaching us how to interact, men and women. And so, you know, like me, for example, I got played a lot.
Wow.
Because, well, I had sex with these guys that I thought, because I thought they were like me. I'm like, well, I'm having sex with you because I like you and maybe I want to date you. And I didn't understand that to a man, I was just a disposable, replaceable body. I didn't understand that because they were so nice. And so I think there's like, you know, thinking that they're like us, or being too gullible, or just like growing up really shallow, like in a family and with our friends, you know, we can be really trusting, but in certain scenarios, we have to be a little bit more like vetting people, kind of like we can't get our emotions involved too quickly. So we have to be a little bit more discerning, but yet we're trusting. I don't know. It's kind of confusing. I think for me, it was about like not understanding men or being too trusting. And then, you know, there's the element too of women wanting sex too. It's all kind of confusing. Now, one thing that you recommend. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah. And you touched upon a key word when you talk about trusting. And once again, see, men can pick up on those things real quickly. We can pick up on those things in the initial stages. We can pick up on those things when we first meet you. And like I said, see, men are never going to come out and say that, okay, you're a beautiful lady, you're an attractive lady, you know, I'm just into you only for sex. We will never come out and say that in the beginning. Why is that? Because we know that if we tell you our exact motives, there's a good chance you may look at us and say, no, I'm not interested in that. I want more than that. So we're going to lie. We're going to come up with schemes. We're going to come up with games in order to conceal our true identity and what our alternative motives are. So again, no man is going to tell you how they exactly feel, you know, as far as I just want to hook up, or I just want this, I just want that. You know, that's why we lay on the charm. That's why we call it, men, we refer to it as game, because we have practiced being calm. We have practiced being cool. We have practiced being nice. We have practiced, you know, making sure that the lines come out just so perfect that, you know, it attaches to your emotions, and we look at your reactions to make sure that you're smiling, and, you know, we'll extend our hand out to you to see if, you know, if you rubbing our hands and things of that nature. So when we pick up on things like that, that's letting us know, yeah, you're falling exactly into my trap. And one of the reasons why, you know, I try and, you know, explain these things to ladies is because this is the exact same thing that happened to my mother. And I don't want to see that happen to any other lady, because it's a trickle down effect. My daddy messed my mother up so bad psychologically that it affected the children as well. It affected myself. It affected my two sisters and things of that nature. So it's a trickle down effect. And so this is why, once again, you know, if I were a lady, my attitude would be the good has to suffer for the bad. And that's why I would implement a vetting process to make sure that I have a set of strategies in place to weed out these F-boys, these players, these pickup artists, these dogs, the guys going around calling themselves the alpha males. See, all they do is they just pride themselves on women not knowing the games that they are running. That's the only way it can work. If a lady does not know its actual game. But if a lady understands, and if a lady is one step ahead of these guys, then they can see all of these things coming down the pipe. And then they'll know how to avoid it, and also know how to counteract some of these things that men are doing.
I've listened to your video where you explain about your mother, and it so breaks my heart that in your dad's case, he was very honest. And there are men who are very honest that say, I don't want anything more.
Yes.
And the woman thinking, yeah, you will with me. I can change you. I can have you. They don't believe the man. And your dad was very honest with your mom that he was not looking for a relationship.
Yes.
And she kept hoping that he would. And that's like very, very sad.
It is. It is.
So now there are men in the manosphere who talk about spinning plates. And I have a couple questions about that. One is, why are some ladies okay with being a plate? That's one of the plates. And also, why do you think that men are more eager to go right after sex and women are more discerning? Because women nowadays try to be like men, but really we're not. Mm-hmm. I think women more like sex in a relationship.
Yes.
But then there are men who prefer sex in a relationship too. You know, there's kind of a range of. So I just asked you 3 questions in one.
No problem.
Whatever you want to answer.
Well, first of all, let me answer the question about men and our desire to have sex. See, that is so strong. our desire to have sex. I mean, it comes pre-built with every man because we have that hormone that's called testosterone. Now, of course, older men, we want sex as well, but our testosterone levels are not as raging as those guys, 22, 23, 25, 31. But it's still within all men. Men, we want that physical release. This is why there's so many men, especially in today's world. When I talk about today's world, I'm talking about with the implementation of the cell phone and social media and dating sites. This is why so many men are just being just greedy. In other words, they want a woman for every day of the week in which they can have sex with. And in a lot of instances, when that woman catches on to their games and she says, well, no more, I'm not going to be your puppet on the string. They just say, okay, bye. I'll just find a replacement for you. Because that man's we have a strong natural instinct. When we talk about instinct, we're talking about something that does not have to be brought out or coerced. It's automatically in us that we want to have sex. Think about it. Pornography is a multi-billion-dollar industry. The strip clubs, multi-billion-dollar industry. OnlyFans, all of these things, the escort industry, things of that nature. And see, 90% are, I would say, let me say higher than that. I would say 96% of the consumers are who? Men.
Men, yes. Even on gay porn, it's men. Yeah.
Thank you. That's a great point. So men, we want that we want that release. We want to be able to have sex. We want to be able to have sex in a lot of instances as much as we can. And for a man, it's hard. It's really hard for us to deny ourselves sex and turn down sex. It's almost like a drug. And in some instances, I would argue that it's more powerful than a drug, because if you think about some of the things that men do, for example, men, we could be content living in a cardboard box, but we go out and get the big house. We go out and get the cars. We go out and get the clothes. We go out and get the jewelry. We go out and get these trinkets we really don't care anything about, but we do that to what? Attract women. And like I said, once we get ladies in the bed, sooner or later, we're going to be like, well, sex with you, it's cool, it's great or whatnot, but it's played out, it's old, it's outdated. I'm just going to kick you to the curb. And a lot of times that, as you said, that woman can be so emotionally attached to that man, she's not understanding why. And she goes back and she replays all the things that he says, the nice deeds,
Oh yeah, I've done that. I've done that.
Yeah, maybe, she goes back and look at the whining and dining and say, wait a minute, what the hell happened? He was a complete gentleman. He took me out to dinner. He pulled the chairs out from under me. He opened the doors for me. He did all these things. Now he just acting like a complete and disgusting pig. Well, he was a complete and disgusting pig day one. He just disguised him being a disgusting pig with his mannerisms and things of that nature to get you in bed, to get the sex from you or whatnot. And then, the true colors came out. So this is why, again, especially in today's age, especially with the cell phone, especially with the dating sites, especially with, men having access to so many women, you're in California, if I were still in my playing days in California, if I'm not mistaken, you're in San Diego.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
But if I were in my 20s in San Diego right now, I would have women, first of all, in San Diego, multiple women in San Diego, but I'm not going to stop there. I'm going to go on dating sites. I'm going to go on social media sites. I'm going to go on different sites. I'm going to get women in Los Angeles. I'm going to get women in Phoenix. I'm going to get women in San Francisco. I'm going to get women in, San Bernardino. I'm going to have a perimeter anywhere from at least maybe something from about a 30-minute drive, maybe a 2-hour drive maximum perimeter where I can have women, not only in San Diego, but outside of San Diego within a 2-hour driving perimeter where I can just say, well, the women in San Diego, in my cell phone, all of them turn me down for sex. Let me try the women in, in Orange, California, or Long Beach, or Los Angeles, or whatnot. I'll just get in my car or whatnot, and I'll just drive up there. because I know sooner or later with the numbers game, somebody's going to say yes. And this
right.
is
And not really, you know, I mean, not all men have as much. Well, I guess I'm going to say that you were a player.
Oh, for sure. When you're dealing with men in a lot of instances and they're unavailable, they were unavailable for a reason. And that's because men, we have this unwritten rule that the more you make yourself unavailable to a woman, the more she's going to pursue you. And so there are a lot of guys who practice that one thing that you just described, making sure that I'm unavailable. Because again, that thing is being taught. It's so pervasive in the dating world today. Hey, when you meet a woman, make sure that you're not in her space. You're not too clingy. You're not calling her too much. In fact, call her maybe once every 3 weeks, maybe once every 2 weeks. You want to make yourself unavailable. Then what's going to happen is you're going to basically flip the script on her and make her chase and pursue you. So
yeah, so that to me, I have to cut those guys off pretty quick because it's very traumatizing to me. And so, you know, it's interesting how people can give us a certain feeling. Like with some people, I feel very secure, even though I hardly ever see them. And with some people, I kind of feel like this very, I don't know, I think sense their unavailability.
Yes.
And that's why it's not good. That's why I don't hook up anymore, because I start, see, when I would hook up with a guy, and this is also for the ladies, because ladies think we're supposed to be like men, you know, we're supposed to work like men, fuck like men, but we're not really like men. And I think a lot of people, I think that guys who hook up a lot and women who hook up a lot, I think we have to turn off our emotions to do it. And so a lot of what I like to focus on is like just being like a whole human being and feeling our emotions like we're supposed to feel them.
Yes.
And so what would happen, I would hook up with these guys. Well, they were these young guys in their early 20s. What do you know, I didn't know. I guess I grew up so freaking sheltered. And then they would just blow me off. And I started thinking, this was in my early 50s. I started thinking that I almost feel like we're having a therapy session here. You're helping me. But I have to figure out how to have sex like these guys. I have to figure out, because I'm very sensual, I have to figure out how to have sex with these guys and then be okay with them blowing me off. Like that's a skill I need to develop. That's what I thought for years. And now I realize, you know what? I don't want to develop that skill, because I start reading these books from evolutionary biologists.
Yes.
And women are supposed to be discerning. Like it's not normal to have sex with someone and blow them off. We're not supposed to be okay with that. So I stopped hooking up, because if I have sex with some guy and I text him the next day something and he doesn't get back to me for 2 days, it feels very traumatizing, and I'm not okay with that.
Yes.
So through a lot of pain, I've learned that it's really good to vet guys, because it's better to just have sex with the guy that I know cares about me. And the guys who care about a woman, they're not going to leave her because she won't have sex with him. They'll wait a long time. They'll wait months. They'll even wait until marriage.
Thank you.
I don't know if they have to wait that long, but I think it's really important to vet. And another reason it's important to vet is because so many people are still walking around with all this trauma.
Yes.
They get triggered easily. They get really reactive. You know, maybe a year down the road, you have an argument, and now that they're controlling and they're blaming you, like it's really good to, I think we forget that people have an insight that we can't see, that we have to get to know a little bit.
Yes. Yes.
But
yes. Yeah, and that's a great point you made, because again, I don't know the first thing about being a woman, but I can tell you this. See, when a man has sex, when we have sex on our mind, all the rational thinking as far as, you know, us looking down the road and considering, you know what, we could be breaking this lady's heart. We could be causing her to have depression. We could be causing her to have to not feel good about herself. We could be causing her to have low self-esteem. We could be causing her to not want to get out of the bed. We could be causing her to just want to spend the whole day in a dark house. See, those things, even though we think about them, we think about those are the things that we could be doing to you. That desire to have sex, basically what it says is F her and F her feelings. I want the sex. And if she has to go down that dark path of depression and anxiety and, low self-esteem, we're like, it doesn't matter. All we want to do is get our rocks off. That's why a lot of times as a man, we can have sex with a lady and within, 5, 10, 15 minutes, we're putting our clothes back on. Mm-hmm. And the lady may be looking at you like, well, I thought you were going to spend more time with me. I thought you were going to spend the night. And we're like, no, I just told you that. I told you I was going to spend the night. I told you we were going to cuddle. I told you we were going to, do dinner afterwards. But a lot of times after we have sex, we just put on our clothes 5, 10, 15 minutes later. And it's like, bye, we're out the door.
Or man, I've also experienced a man where I've said, this was right after my divorce. Mm-hmm. And I said, I don't want to just hook up. I want to spend the night too. And he's like, yeah, I'm a nice guy. You can spend the night. And I did. But you know what?
What?
He didn't really want me to spend the night.
That's right.
See, there's some tips for women in terms of like what they can do if they're looking, like, say, for a relationship.
Yeah, you took the number one thing, and which is be feminine. But on top of being feminine, you did a great job in explaining that. But on top of being feminine, women have to understand that they control the tempo in the initial stages of the relationship. Because if women don't realize or understand or know that they control the tempo, men are going to follow the woman's lead in the initial stages. We really are. But we also look to see, do you realize that? Does a woman realize that if you move fast, we'll move slow? I'm sorry, if you move fast, we'll move fast. Or if you move slow, we'll move slow. Because if a woman does not realize that, what we're going to do is we're going to be quiet, and by default, we're going to dictate the pace. And 9 times out of 10 with us, the pace is going to be real fast. Real fast. Because fast with us, the faster the pace is, the faster we're taking your panties off and getting you into bed. So women have to realize that they control the pace, and men, we will follow your lead. So if you're having sex quickly, guess what men are going to do? Oops, we're going to have sex with you quickly. But if you present yourself as being a feminine lady, we will not only acknowledge your femininity, but we will follow your lead. And you don't have to tell us that you're the type of woman that likes to take things slow. Just take things slow. You don't have to tell us that you're an old-fashioned or you're a virtuous woman. Just be virtuous. And so we're going to follow your lead. So all ladies have to do is, like you said, number one, be feminine. And 2, you set the pace. And men are going to follow that. Now, does that mean we're not going to try every now and then to take the reins away from you and say, hey, get out of the driver's seat. It's time for us to drive the car. No, we're going to try that sooner or later. But if you hold on to, again, if you don't believe in premarital sex, nothing wrong with that. Don't tell the man you believe that. Just have your process in place, and we'll pick up on it, and we will honor that. But I think it's so many women that don't understand that we will follow your lead. One of the things I tell ladies is, think about, you could be in your home, and you think about, your home is it could be cool in the summer or warm in the winter. So women, you are the thermostat, but men, we're that doggone AC unit outside. We're that central AC unit. So all you got to do is control the thermostat, and we're either going to go cold or we'll go hot, but we're still following your lead. And so again, it's so easy to understand men if you're listening to the right people. And I just feel in today's world, there are so many men that understand that women are not getting this type of information. And so if women are not aware of this type of information, of their femininity, of their female leverage, and that men will actually follow their lead, if women are not aware of that, men are like, well, that's to our advantage. And we're just going to take advantage of that, and we're going to lead. And we're going to lead you straight to that bedroom every time. I promise you that, as quickly as possible. It's a thin line between showing interest in a man, which I'm all for. Mm-hmm. Nothing wrong with showing interest in a man, but when you go overboard as far as always smiling and what I call over smiling, nothing wrong with showing your teeth, but showing all of your teeth. Okay. Nothing wrong with giving a man a compliment, but don't compliment by saying that you know your whole life has changed since she's met the guy. Don't compliment him by saying my heart skips a beat whenever you're around. Don't compliment him by saying I was waiting on you to return my call. Or every time I see your phone number in my phone, it makes me light up. It brightens up my day when I hear your voice. See, men, we pick up on those things. Okay, you just told me that every time you hear my voice, it brightens up your day. In our minds, we're saying, bingo. When you tell us your heart skips a beat every time that you're around us, I'm around you guys, or you feel all gushy and, we make you feel like butter being melted in a pan, and we feel all feminine and gushy and things of that nature when we're around. See, there's nothing wrong with feeling those things, but when you tell a man that verbally, in our minds, we're saying, we got you.
Yeah, those are things better left said. Yeah. So that's a good a reminder around boundaries, right?
Yeah.
And getting to know someone gradually. Like when we lived in smaller communities, people would get to know each other at work, at school. A lot of people would meet each other in college, or in high school.
Yes.
Or in the workplace, or maybe they would know each other from gym or the church or some other social setting.
Yes.
And so their kind of attraction kind of gradually, naturally built. So this kind of like falling for someone too quick, gushing over them too fast is not something good. And is, things to be said later in a relationship.
Yeah.
But I think also in this particular friend's case, she did like to drink. And she did like to over text guys. So, probably giving a lot of signals that would.
Yeah.
It's good to do some good pacing early on. Good pacing.
Exactly. And see, we're all human and we all like what we like. In other words, I can meet a lady and I can look at her and, I'm like, okay, she's attractive, but I'm not really feeling her. And I could see another lady, don't know anything about her, but it's something about her that makes me want to say, I want to have sex with that lady. Now, I'm sexually attracted to her, but the last thing I'm going to do is reveal that to her in the initial stages. Why? Because there's a good chance that, A, she doesn't feel that way about me, or let's say she is. Maybe she's the type that wants to take things slow. So I'm not going to blow my chance of having sex with her by revealing that you are one of the finest women I ever met. I just want to get you in that bedroom and just, F your brains out. So my point is, when a woman is sexually attracted to a man, once again, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that because we like what we like. So if a woman is sexually attracted to a man, nothing wrong with that. But what I'm saying is, I think women drop the ball when they tell him too early, when they send out those sexual signals too early, and we can pick up on it so quick. And so if you are sexually attracted to a man, once again, absolutely nothing wrong with that, but you got to come up with ways in order to not let him pick up on that sexual attraction, because you could be hot as a firecracker. You really can. I mean, he could be that one in a million guy that just makes your vajayjay just wet, just looking at him, just his touch. So he could be that, but you can't let him know that, every time I'm around you, my vajayjay just gets, like a water faucet or wet. You know what I'm saying? But you can't let him know that in the initial stages. That's when men will take those things and we'll run with it. We'll take your female leverage, transfer it to our natural instinct to dominate. And believe me one thing, we're going to dominate. And that's what can lead to so much heartache and despair and depression from a female side.